In a galaxy far, far away, with Godric's forces defeated, Stormveil Castle was free to begin its recovery. But where one chapter ends, another begins. Darth Maul now must face the spellbound world of Liurnia and strip the crown from the one they call Rennala, Queen of the Full Moon. Will his strength be enough to take on such a challenge, or will this new domain of magic and the Force prove too powerful even for the legendary Sith Lords? Welcome to Elden Ring, where even the fiercest warriors must tread carefully. But what happens when a master of the dark side enters this unforgiving realm? Will his Sith training and ferocity be enough to conquer the lands between? Or will the trials of Elden Ring prove too great, even for a Sith Lord? Join me on this epic journey as Darth Maul navigates through dungeons, encounters formidable bosses, and discovers the hidden secrets of the Elden Ring. This is the crossover you never knew you needed. How's it going, everybody? The Mythical Pickle here, and welcome to Elden Ring. If you're a fan of the Star Wars series and love the ruthless trials of Elden Ring, then look no further, as today we will be continuing our quest to answer the question nobody asked for, but everyone needed. Can you beat Elden Ring as Darth Maul? Now, if you're at all curious about the rules I'll be sticking to throughout this run, go ahead and check out my first video I did on this series as I break down each and every little stipulation I'll be abiding by in this video and all future ones. But one that you should know for sure is no summons, because it truly takes away from the skill needed to beat the boss fights, and mostly because I ain't no bitch.
Wow.
Now, without further ado, let's see how the dark side fares once more in the lands between. While ignoring our previous escapades, being that we're finally free to explore the watery region of Liurnia, the first thing I did was head straight for the academy, as Darth Maul had taken an interest in the dark arts and was interested in furthering his knowledge. Once there, however, I was bombarded by countless Liurnia soldiers that thought they could stand with the likes of the mighty Sith Lord, but that didn't last long. Oh, you thought I was gonna fight them? Nah, it's because I hopped on our boy Torrent and hightailed it past those sons of bitches. I quickly found the site of grace, and well, then I went back and absolutely annihilated him. Alright, you got me. But what can I say? I'm a sucker for a good montage, and Darth Maul's twin blade was growing more and more restless by the second. Now, with the entirety of this humble gate town wiped off the map, I sprinted happily up the steps in search of Raya Lucaria's entry. That wasn't until I ran into a slight problem. You see, in order to get into Raya Lucaria, I needed a key to pass through its magical barrier, but that key was located under the ass of an enormous dragon. Now, lucky for Darth Maul though, the dragon's always sleeping when you first show up, giving me just enough time to swoop in and grab that damn key before the old dragon can get his bearings. And with the key in hand, Darth Maul finally stepped through the gates into Hogwarts. Now, I wish I could say this experience was flawless, considering how leveled up I thought we were at this point, but as it turns out, Hogwarts isn't as friendly a place as Mr. Potter made it seem. But regardless of the deadly whimsy of this place, Darth Maul searched deep within to find that inner Sithly power that he knows all too well. God damn, that dude's enormous. Finally, in the upper towers portion of the academy, I attempted to battle my way through the Easter Island heads, but unfortunately they had other plans. Oh shit, where the fuck did that guy come from? So instead, I once again ran right past all of them, which wasn't too difficult in and of itself, but as soon as I seen that debate parlor, all the suffering came rushing back to me. Nevertheless, Darth Maul, as he always does, stepped through that doorway without so much as a second thought, as he knows that the only way up is through. Now, this guy doesn't have any armor, so I should be able to deal a good amount of damage. Well, shit. Now, considering how well this battle was going, I decided that the best course of action was to try and upgrade this twin blade of ours, which unfortunately meant Darth Maul was once again forced to travel all the way back down to sea level in order to scrounge up as many of these smithing stones as humanly possible. Wait a minute, Darth Maul his own species? Well, anyway, like I was trying to say, we need smithing stones and we need a lot of them. Now, I needed level 2 and 3 stones right now, and lucky for us, that cave we were teleported to in the first episode happened to have exactly that. So I warped my way back down there and got to work collecting those precious golden spikes. And, well, doing my best to avoid the local fauna. Now that we got this twin blade looking much sharper, it was time once again to take this dog for a walk. This ring closer. Now with Clifford, the big red bitch, out of the way, I was free to explore the rest of Raya Lucaria, which was a nice change of pace really. Hell, even some of the locals were offering free hugs. But I couldn't stay around long as the quest to become the Elden Lord waits for no man or Sith. So I ran up the grand staircase, dodging the boulder flawlessly if I do say so myself, and eventually found myself face to face with our next major thorn in my side, the Carrion Knight, also known as Moongrum. Now, he doesn't look like much, but mind you, we still have next to no damage negation and even less voice thanks to Darth Maul's wardrobe choices, making this asshat quite an issue for our dear Sith Lord. And after getting steamrolled by the Royal Guard way more times than my ego could handle, I decided to pull a little inspiration from a long-lost foe.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
Holy shit, I cannot believe that word. And at long last, we reached the Academy Pinnacle Tower, home to the one and only Rennala. Surely Darth Maul's inability to beat the knight was just a fluke, right?
What is that?
Now, if you've ever tried to fight Rennala before, then you know it's really not all that difficult getting her to phase 2. But see, now that's where things start to get a bit interesting.
Mother's rich slumber shall not be disturbed by thee. Foul trespasser. Send word far and wide. Of the last queen of Caria, Rennala of the Full Moon. majesty of the night she conjureth.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Well, after quite a shameful display of the dark side, I did attempt to battle the Kyrian Knight a few more times, and as it turns out, by comparison to the Moon Bitch, this guy wasn't all that bad. But nevertheless, I was still clearly underprepared for this boss fight, so it was back to the grind for old Darth Maul. My first stop, of course, was Lynn's Rise to do a bit of rune farming, which wasn't high on my list of fun and interesting things for Darth Maul to do in Elden Ring, but here we are. Now, I mainly focused on leveling my endurance, as I was fully convinced that with a bit of good timing, I could dodge most of Renala's slow-ass spells. And not to mention, with a high endurance, I had way more stamina, which translates to more successive damage, as we still have the winged sword talisman on our person, provided I can get close enough to get those hits in. And the final step here was to locate as many smithing stones as possible, so we could get this twin blade working like a hot knife through butter. And much like before, I figured the best place to find them would be the caves. Now, while the journey here was slow as fuck, I got pretty lucky with picking the right mining caves for the stones I needed, all without any help whatsoever from the Elden Ring wiki page. And now that I got the blade nice and leveled up, Darth Maul was really starting to feel himself. I mean, look at that smile. But regardless of Darth Maul's self-righteous endeavors, it was time once again to face the music. You bitch! And much like the planet of Alderaan, the Queen of the Full Moon was completely obliterated. Well, kind of. Now she's just kinda sitting there. Menacingly! I'm not really sure what the lore implications of that are, but it matters not, as Darth Maul had finally beaten the Moon Queen, while only contracting a smidgen of moon madness. And, with that, much like Stormveil, Hogwarts had lived out its usefulness for our Sith Lord. So I carried on riding straight through a great war ground into the Grand Lift of Dectus. At long last, it was time to brave the lands of the Altus Plateau. Wait a minute, shouldn't this thing be moving or something? Ah, shit. Forgot to get the keys. Well, this is awkward. And that does it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed Darth Maul's slow descent into madness, and there's already a part 3 in the works, so be sure to look out for that. Anyways, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and as always, remember to smile.